All right. All right, we're recording.
Oof.
But for what? What?
I don't know. Everything else changes. Why can't we?
Fair enough.
I mean, the bottom's falling out of everything around me. So if in a topsy turvy world that we live in, perhaps we could have a podcast this week.
Yeah, I guess that's true. They're out here stealing the hands off of our French king. What are we supposed to do about it? I like how people
I don't know.
are
I
mad.
build them a new robot hand. Have a Robo King downtown.
God, if I weren't so afraid that I'd get killed by the police, I'd go down there and just glue a chainsaw onto that statue.
Yeah.
Give him the old.
Oh man, if we can sculpt a Bruce Campbell head too, I'll go rip that head off tonight.
Let's start a petition to have the statue of Louis XVI turned into a Bruce Campbell from Evil Dead statue. Oh, it's been an interesting week.
It surely has.
Oh.
I want to analogize what it's like, and I'm worried I'm going to be insensitive. But I've been happy and excited about what's happened, and I'm glad that these protests are happening in a very big, real way. But in a big, large sense, I'm like, let's burn it all down. Let's bottom out. Like it feels like being a sports fan and you want your team to get a high draft pick. We know we're losing. This whole past 4 years has been a giant shit show. Let's make sure it doesn't happen again.
Here's something that I'm enjoying right now, completely outside of the realm of politics, is you're just recording with your laptop microphone, which picks up a lot more of the ambient noise. So this episode has like just a cheery bird in the background.
Oh, I am? I'm not supposed to be. I have the microphone plugged in.
Oh, shoot. I thought you knew. I thought there was something wrong with the microphone.
But lately I have been recording in the sunroom, which does give more ambient noise. A little more light. I find myself staying in here for... Oh, no, I knocked over my beer.
And see, with this microphone, we heard the fizz. We could hear that. I mean, it sounded like some Foley work for a commercial.
All right, well, I'm not going to even pretend. I'm going to talk a little bit louder, and I've been holding the microphone up to my mouth, and that's apparently...
Yeah. No, this microphone... Yeah, this microphone is way louder, so...
Would you like to take a short pause, and I'll get this sorted out so I'm recording properly? Or do you want to just like...
Yeah, I mean, let's just roll with it. We've been going for like 15 minutes.
Fair enough. Do you have a podcast idea for this week?
Okay, I have one here. My first idea is... I didn't really explore what this could have meant ahead of time. It just kind of came to me like a vision on the road to Damascus, and my eyes were opened, I wrote down Joe Rodan. It's like Joe Rogan, but with a D instead of a G. So I guess
so he's like the famous kaiju from the Toho films.
Yes, the pterodactyl who fights Godzilla and then later teams up with Godzilla to defeat Monster Zero.
Okay, if Joe Rogan is the Rodan of the podcast universe, who's the Godzuki?
Oh, so this would be like a little Godzilla. Well, I guess that would be Howard Stern.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So does that make Beetlejuice Godzuki?
Yes, it does. Oh my god. I was not ready. I was not ready for that mental image. But yeah, no, I like this. Maybe this is where we go with it.
It's just populating this analogous world of podcasting to monster movies.
Yeah.
Well, they all have the soundboards to make their terrible noises.
Oh my god! So who's the Mothra in this in the Joe Rodan universe?
Ooh, is Mark Maron not the Mothra?
I guess yeah, Mark Maron. He's the Mothra, and then there's a tiny Opie and Anthony who call out to wake him up. And then King Kong.
I don't know if we've got Howard Stern as Godzilla, who's Mecha Godzilla?
Man Cow.
Okay.
And then who's Gamera? That's like not in the same universe. Never. I don't think Gamera ever fights Godzilla, right?
I can't picture Gamera right now. I think I'm
Gamera's like Gamera's like a ripoff. Oh, Ghidorah. Ghidorah is Monster Zero.
Yes.
Same one. But no, Gamera is the ripoff version. He's like a turtle with tusks.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he's kind of like an off-brand monster. I think we kind of lost steam with this right away.
Yeah.
I think it might be yeah. Seems like it was a better idea.
Joe, well, like, I mean, what else could Joe Rodan be?
Joe Rohan, and he's one of the horse lords of
one of the riders of the Rohirrim. He's trying to right the wrongs in his kingdom. That vile villain Grima Wormtongue has poisoned the ear of his lord and king. I can't remember his name. I know it starts with Eo something.
Eodin.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. What about this is 2 steps removed. This is kind of Cockney rhyming slang, but what about Joe Radon? And he just warns you about getting your basement tested for radon.
He reminds you of what happened to Madame Curie all the time. He's like, come on, this is, serious issue. Look what happened to the Curies.
Yeah, just keep...
They won a fantastic prize and died for it. Because of their, pride overload.
Mm-hmm.
Poisoned by pride.
What about Joe Rowan with a W? And it's just Mr. Bean, but he's hosting the Joe Rogan show. And it's classic Mr. Bean before the movies where they made him talk. So it's a very strange radio show. You have to watch the video version of it. And he's just going, at people.
Maybe we could just get him to make those guttural noises, and then we'll cast a xylophone to do it him physically. Or maybe a whole percussion section, and the xylophone will be normal steps, but when he starts to fall into things, we'll start to hit some cymbals and some snares. And we'll just have every episode will end in a Mr. Bean drum solo, and it'll just be we need to get drummers to convert his beautiful physical comedy into acoustic bliss.
You could just add wacky sound effects to Joe Rogan's podcast. That's really what it's missing. It doesn't have the soundboard.
Yeah, why doesn't he do that? It seems like it'd be a hand in glove situation, him and a soundboard.
Or if he just, like you were saying, kind of wacky or stuff. Like if he just incorporated like some old like radio, like pre-television radio comedy into his show. Like he's like, all right, we'll be back with more with the inventor of the racism computer after this. But first, I gotta go get my surfboard out of the closet. Oh no! Oh.
Did you get sued for just announcing that your guest is Rowan Atkinson on every episode and just never really have Rowan Atkinson say anything?
We just
introduce that conceit that he's exploring the studio space every time.
He's just feeling out the space, yeah. Our guest this week is Larry Bird. He won't be speaking. He insists on spending an hour before every recording session dribbling a ball around the entire room looking for dead spots in the floor where he can steal during the podcast.
Well, we do have in the podcasting studio, it is all parquet floor, and there are a lot of dead spots where those little wooden bits intersect.
Yeah, we have it.
It's gonna happen. Very elaborate. Like you need to know not just your opponent, but your environment. It's very key, and you got to tip your cap to Larry Legend for wanting to find those dead spots.
Yeah, it's a little known fact about our podcast is that our studio does have like a very expensive modular parquet floor, and beneath that is a constant. There's an ice rink underneath where there's there's a hockey podcast that comes on after we're done. They have to take the whole thing out, and then they have to close down the upper section of seats so that it doesn't look as empty in the stadium where we record. Yeah.
And they're always mad about us wanting to keep the temperature up because it's fucking cold. You're sitting on ice, but you get a little bit too hot, and they can't do their ice skating hockey podcast.
Hockey is a form of ice skating. You don't need to correct yourself.
I know, but I also, just to be fair, I only call it an ice skating podcast to make them mad.
Yeah.
And I've had my shirt pulled over the top of my head while my face was pummeled a few too many times. I don't need that again.
It's true. They come in here and they
why don't people do that in regular fights more often? Why is it always hockey brawls where people realize like, oh, if I just pull this guy's shirt over his head, then I can punch his face without having to deal with him trying to punch mine?
You know what? I don't understand why they haven't modified the jerseys to take care of that problem,
Like just have breakaway snaps on the back so as soon as it happens.
I was thinking about just like how flummoxed the opposing team would be if you just came out in like a very tight turtleneck. Like, what are you going to do now? Your whole hockey team comes out like looking like Steve Jobs. You just got a pair of like kind of balloon seat dungarees, tapered leg into a. Well,
the only thing I'm thinking is like with all the pads and everything on it, it might make breathing a little bit difficult to have a turtleneck over top of all of that bullshit.
Yeah, I guess maybe.
I don't know.
What about?
I always feel.
What about if you?
I think I've said this to you before. If you wear a turtleneck, do you not feel like an uncircumcised penis every minute that you're wearing that turtleneck?
I usually feel like a hamburger. But that's just my taste.
What were you saying?
Damn it! Did I cut out?
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, I came at you with a good burn. And yeah. It totally landed flat.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, audience.
I'm still dealing with this thing where every once in a while you cut out, and sometimes what you're saying stretches out and goes into like weird robot tones. and your voice gets a lot deeper. But by and large,
That's just
I think it's working
I'm experiencing
well.
like a secondary puberty.
Oh, okay. Did your balls drop even farther?
Yeah, they are dragging, my friend. My balls are tunneling to the center of the earth.
You need to get some little sidecars for your tennis shoes.
Just, I have a little hammock. I'm wearing a pair of high top sneakers, and I've attached a little hammock between the two sneakers for my balls. They're just hanging out in the hammock as I walk. It kind of juggles them. Anyway, that's like Joe Rodan.
Okay. Well, I've got an idea too, and this one, this one's an arty one. It's called Paint by Orders.
Paint by orders?
It would be, like the whole paint by numbers thing where it's like, 1 is red, 2 is yellow, 3 is blue, and they give you like a famous painting and you recreate it because you don't have, the creativity to make your own painting. But this would be like somewhere in the middle of all that where we give you point by point instructions on how to make a painting, but we don't have it all lined out for you. I'm just going to tell you that I want a devil dog, and I want you to make that devil dog sing. And it'll just be us. I don't know how many we get through, but we just describe paintings we want to see, and the listeners have to then send us a digital copy that I'm sure we'll make a website or something, and it will be paint by orders.
Paint by or I really like this idea of just telling people what kind of a painting we want, and then we can like showcase, when they send something in, we'll be like, send in your art, send in a painting of the thing that we described, and then we'll just
then like we can always have a portion at the beginning of the next podcast where we say like, okay, so and so sent us in this painting of Nate's balls down in the sidecars of his tennis shoes, and I can tell them that I'm glad that you painted in general what I wanted to see, but there's no spoilers on those sidecars like I asked for, and I can give honest criticism where it's due.
No spoilers on my balls. And that's a problem because I want to, before I show someone my balls, say, oh, spoiler alert. I'm just going to assume that the mic cut out and that you...
No. I heard you.
Shit.
I was turning around to grab my beer. So
that's just every time that a joke doesn't land now. Just
okay.
Be like, oh, you cut out.
Okay, I'll be more honest in the future. That one didn't cut out, but I was turned around.
I just we have a breaking news alert. I've just been informed by Netflix that I should relive some of my favorite moments. Watch it again. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, I've been reliving those moments this week.
Oh, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Did you enjoy those? Did you enjoy those moments that you spent with the Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I think they kind of buried the lead because he can bend water and earth and fire too.
I've seen. Here's the crazy
might be
thing.
The only.
I've never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, it's a really good kid show.
Oh no, I think this is the movie Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh,
not the show.
Well, that's a horse of a different color.
Yeah,
a poop color.
Well, you said they buried the lead.
Color for a horse, of course.
This was M. Night Shyamalan's plan all along. People are like, wait, I don't understand. Where's the twist? And he's like, the twist is that 20 years from now, Netflix will be telling people to relive their favorite moments from this movie. Whoa.
You know, I'm still holding out that he's going to. I mean, he's kind of beat around the bush with the last two movies he did, but you know, he came back and brought Unbreakable back into the fold. But when are we going to get the fucking Seventh Sense already?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, my mind is waiting to be blown and has been since right about the time my balls dropped for the first time. I mean, really, I think it was the same year. So there you go, fellas.
What would the plot of the Seventh Sense be? I feel like you could.
I mean, that's why we need a Shyamalan on this one.
Here's the thing: you could just the Sixth Sense, right? Is just seeing dead people. So you got 4 more right there. You could smell dead people.
Well, I've smelled dead people. I've done that.
I guess
I
he can feel the dead people though, right? Because he would be like, oh, like have a little cold breath.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe he could smell and taste the dead people too. He just never tried, or the story never got into it. You know, like it didn't show him poop ever, but I assume that he poops.
Do ghosts
You just
poop?
don't need to. No, the little boy. The whole time I when I was in the theater, I was like, poops. Show the little boy pooping. I want to see the little boy pooping.
Oh. Were you the only one shouting that, or did you have a quorum in the theater?
I tried to get people on my side about this, and they were not having it. I stood up on my seat. I turned around and I was like, are we all just gonna agree? Huh? Somebody started throwing pennies at me.
Well, do you got another podcast idea?
Yes. This one is called Sovereign Citizen World News. And this okay. Would be where we, you know how you get in the car in the morning and you just by default you have your radio set to NPR and you hear the BBC World News, and then yes. You get to hear like the world news from a different take, you know, and you say, well, these guys have an accent, so clearly they have a different idea about the world than my goofy ass. Well, what if we did a podcast, but it was like for sovereign citizens? So it was like all.
Are we also going to get to the people who have small offshore islands? Are we going to have some sort of boat where we could broadcast our podcast to all the houseboats and small islands out there? Like, we gonna keep all of the sovereign nations in on the Sovereign Nation podcast?
I get. Are we gonna set up our own sovereign nation?
Yeah, I kind of feel like it needs to be a sovereign podcast to serve them itself. Correctly. Like, okay, it can't be on any sort of podcast network. I think it might have to only be like a physical media thing.
What about this? What if instead of it being the Sovereign Citizen World News, because now that I think about it, that would just be the same as any other world news, right? It would just be reporting on the outside world. What if we did like the Sovereign Citizen Nightly News, where we reported on what's going on within our own sovereign nation, and we could take turns being the president.
Okay.
So one of us is doing things and the other one is reporting on what the president is doing. But we hold an election at the beginning of every episode, and then we discuss how we think the president is doing. One of us has to be making policies and responding to national tragedies, and going on.
We can the news in other countries doesn't stay away from reporting on what's going on in the bordering countries. So we
Yeah.
can have opinions on America and Canada
Yeah.
and Mexico and all of Europe and whatnot. But
we'd be like, this just in on Sovereign Nation Nightly News. Here in our country, I don't know what's the name of our country.
we do have a country now.
Okay. We do have a country now.
We should give it a name then. Oh, fuck.
Star Wars.
Well,
I'm just checking with our national with our Supreme Court here. Supreme Court says that we don't recognize American copyright law, so it's called Star Wars.
Okay.
It's the name of,
Star Wars.
Yeah. Here at Star Wars, this is exciting.
And it's not Star Wars Land or Star Warsia or Star Warica. It's Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Don't get it twisted. Just straight up Star Wars.
And this is exciting news. People all over the nation are celebrating tonight as President Andrew Estes has reached a trade deal with America. We will now be getting HBO Max in exchange for a small fee every month. Our nation looks forward to receiving all of the old episodes of Mad TV, as well as Fraggle Rock, and all new offerings like The Watchmen. Who watches The Watchmen? The people of Star Wars watches The Watchmen.
And to everyone who is claiming that I haven't worked out a traditional agreement with the people of the United States of America and am utilizing a VPN, I would like to say that there's no truth to these accusations. They're fraudulent. The people at HBO and the people in the United States of America are great friends of mine, and they're good people. And we worked out a really wonderful deal that is beneficial to everybody. And anybody saying any different is a liar and a scumbag.
We have some
that
more.
Was my comment as the president of Star Wars.
Yes, we have some breaking news here that now the government of the United States is saying that President Andrew Estes, his presidency is illegitimate, and that he appears to have risen to power through voter fraud and coercion. We should at any moment now be hearing a statement that the United States is sending military force to help grant freedom to the people of Star Wars. I look forward to being liberated and immediately made president. I'm going to be the president now.
Nathan P. Woodard should never be the president of anything. He tucks his
testicles
into his cruise socks.
No.
This is going to be
about my testicles.
This is going to be ugly. I can tell. No country's big enough for the two of us.
Which is the two of us. We have a two-party system. we just constantly have to. We hold elections. We hold elections, and so there's never an exchange of power unless one of us gets bored or has to go to the bathroom or something. All right, I'll vote for you this time because I gotta piss. And then you're just in charge of the country for a day.
Seems like a pretty good system, but I mean, I don't know how that would work if it was just a first come, first serve, I claim this chair, no backsies, kind of thing. The Game of Thrones would surely turn into the death of us all.
It's a game of musical thrones, really.
And like you said, it'd be kind of ironic that the way you would lose your throne was going to sit on the other throne. It would be a bathroom thing every time, or a death thing.
I mean, once you're the president, though, you could change the laws around. You could have a toilet put in wherever you are.
Oh man, you could have just like a toilet on tank treads. You could be shitting and rolling, baby.
Why doesn't our president have that?
He hasn't thought of it yet.
Hasn't. Just in a gold toilet. A gold toilet with tank treads. I mean, we don't know for certain that we don't know what was going on under that blanket that FDR had. It could have been a toilet. He could have been shitting in there.
Well, I mean, it probably wasn't like a golden tread. It was probably more of a steam-powered operation. There's probably a little guy down there to work it, too.
No, it's like a steampunk spider legs, like Loveless in the Wild Wild West, but with a little dookie hole.
Yeah. Wiki March of Dimes.
What?
Sorry.
This is not a productive one.
Are you ready for another podcast idea?
Yeah, lay it on me.
Okay. This one's called Pier Mediation, but Pier is spelled Pier.
Oh.
So I figure that people who got their slot at the pier, there's probably a lot of shenanigans going on, and a lot of people being like, oh, people can't see how pretty my boat is because your bloated boat is blocking it. And boat. So I'd like to go down to the piers, and try to hash out all the problems that the boat owners have with each other, and make sure that they don't get ugly or do anything bad to each other.
Okay, I think we could make that happen, right? Just go down the pier.
Yeah, I mean, we're in Kentucky, we're landlocked, but we're not the land of 1,000 lakes, but we do have a land between the lakes, and fairly close to us is Rough River Lake, which has a whole lot of vacation homes and piers on it. So it could start out small and go big. We could be in Palm Beach before it's over, or I don't know what are other yacht centric communities.
Yeah, I don't know any either.
I wanted to say Malibu, and I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah,
I know
maybe
that there's got to be like a California equivalent to Palm Beach, but
wait, is Palm Beach not in California?
I thought that was southern Florida.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of a Midwestern goober.
All right, I'm gonna look it up real quick.
No.
I've seen all the things that I'm just like, am I wrong in assuming that was in Florida? I'm pretty sure it is.
I never got to go anywhere that was warm when I was a child, so it's all.
Oh, I got to go to Florida, but it was all like not okay. Well, I've got an idea too, and this one.
Oh, you cut out. Oh, Lord. Oh, no. All right. I'm going to stop this. I hope that you can hear me.
I know we were talking about where Palm Beach was.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
It's
I
definitely
don't know
in Florida. And
I guess I should have thought of that.
I think where we cut out was that I was saying I was thinking about that when I came up with the idea for Pier Mediation. It was because I was watching oh my god, and I just blanked on his name. What?
Jimmy Buffett?
No. The guy you played at the last roast. The
Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein had one of his many properties was in Palm Beach, and I think that's where they initially busted him and started to unravel his history of crimes. Was in Palm Beach.
So,
but I
hopefully
would
we wouldn't have to get
imagine
into
if
any
you were
kind of
reputable,
that.
if you had like a just a good, honest yacht, and you were next to Jeffrey Epstein's yacht, you might want a little peer mediation, being like, hey, we have our Sunday service on this boat, and we'd prefer not to see what you get up to on yours, my friend.
Yeah, this could also kind of dovetail nicely into the Sovereign Citizen podcast.
Yeah,
because these guys all have their own islands.
That's
right?
true. They have their
Richard
own
Branson.
islands, and some of them just drive their boats out into the middle of the ocean so they can do what not. And at that point in time, that boat is a country. Every boat is a country if it gets far enough away from the mainland.
Yeah, Richard Branson, he's setting off fireworks, and we have to mediate between him and Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein's like, listen, I've got some, famous politicians and businessmen here. Some of them are war heroes over here, and they're scared of the fireworks. You got to quit setting off these fireworks. You're frightening my powerful guests here on my pedophile island. And then that's where we come in. And we're like, listen, you guys both have a very good argument. Can we use your jet skis for while we think about it?
And when they say, like, why should we trust you? We can say, like, we've peer mediated a whole lot of these disputes. I have personally quashed the beef between two distinct Nicolas Cage islands. So my bona fides are there.
It's a great episode. The one where it's Nicolas Cage versus Nicolas Cage, and he's doing two characters. Like,
yeah, one of them's a very dramatic, dark character, and the other's a light comedic character, and they're completely distinct within the same body.
Do you want to go to the Podtron?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, let's check in with the Podtron. The Podtron 4500. It's our we give all of the most popular podcasts on Apple Podcasts to a artificial intelligence, and then he processes all that data and tries to give us something that we can make that would theoretically be as popular as those podcasts. You got anything here that you like?
This is one of those ones I'm not sure what to make of it, but it's number 120 on the list. The Darknet, Diana. Carlin's up first with Ronald.
This is a classic. Just got a little everything from the buffet on one plate kind of podcast.
Yeah.
The Darknet, Diana.
The Darknet, Diana is insanely evocative. Like if a documentary showed up on Netflix called The Darknet Diana, I would be clicking on it.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing: is that when I hear The Darknet Diana, I would imagine there would be a colon in between net and Diana. But what this project is purporting is The Darknet Diana : Carlin's up first with Ronald.
And I know George Carlin's dead, but I'm wondering if The Darknet Diana is not itself a TV show, and we have ourselves a follow-up Talking Dead style show that is hosted by George Carlin with since the plane of death is not problematic, we're going to get Ronald Reagan on there.
Diana, Carlin, and Reagan.
Yeah,
and this
dead.
all takes place in the dark net. They're all like Max Headroom type.
It's where we realize that the afterlife is the internet itself.
Yeah, they've all been uploaded into the
Hell
dark
and
net.
heaven is of your own making upon the dark places of the internet. Some of them can be light places. Can there not be a light internet?
There's a light net. Yeah. That's the heaven. That's the internet heaven. That's where Upworthy went when Facebook changed their algorithm. All right. I got one here.
All right.
It's called Nerderers.
No.
What, did you have that one?
It was one of mine, but I wrote down several, so I won't.
Okay, cool. Nerderers. And this is like murderers, but with nerd and an exclamation point at the end. So
are these giant nerds who are also murderers, or are these people who only murder nerds? What do you think this is?
I would imagine this is nerds who are murderers. But I guess what we would have to do is like every episode we would pick a murderer and then we would do some research and find out what they were a nerd about and talk about it. So we could be like, did you know that Hitler was he was kind of a nerd for painting?
He was. And it was like still lifes. He wasn't painting like giant nationalistic murals. He wanted to paint it like a bowl of fruit. And they told him he wasn't good enough, and I wish they told him, like, you're aces at this, kid. This is the ticket for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You can even see that banana and secretly paint it as your penis. None of us is gonna care. I think that all still life painters who paint bananas are secretly painting their penises. And I think a lot of these are going to be time centric, but what do you think that what's the guy who's like the H.M. Holmes? What do you think he was nerdy about?
Agent Holmes? Is that like the character from?
Did I not get that right? H.M. Holmes, the guy who killed all the people during the World's Fair in Chicago.
Yeah, yes. Sorry, I thought you said Agent Holmes, and I was like, is that the guy from the Avengers movies or something?
No, I was struggling for a serial killer that I was like that we could pin some sort of nerdery on.
Yeah. We could say anything about him, right? How are people gonna disprove it?
I mean, I'm not worried about being disproved.
We could just be like, yeah, he was really into. Well, now that I think about it, this is like over 100 years ago, right? It's gonna be kind of tricky. I don't know what
hot
nerds
air
were
balloons,
into.
kites.
Yeah. He was very into hot air balloons.
Kite battles. Like he and his friends would all get their battling kites out, and they would go down to the park, and they would pin a knife to a kite, and boy howdy, you got a war eagle kite with a knife tip to the beak. It can really tear another kite out of the sky.
I'm on Wikipedia here, and it says that H.H. Holmes.
I said H.M., didn't I?
Yeah.
I was thinking about H&M. Can't go shopping.
I guess his name was Herman Webster Mudgett, though.
Okay.
Maybe that's the nerdy thing about him, is that his name was Herman Webster Mudgett. But it says here that he was executed on May 7th, 1896, 9 days before his birthday. Oh, can you imagine? You're like,
worst.
oh, can't wait for my birthday. And they're like,
I know my anticipation of not only presents and revelry, but that cake starts a full month before my day. And I can't imagine this year because the goddamn quarantine killed mine.
Yeah,
I'm still hoping to have like a that someone has a surplus cake in store in October or something.
Yeah, they were like, just to really insult him, we're gonna do it on his birthday month, and he's like, no, birthdays are a big deal to me. I celebrate the whole birthday month.
Yeah. Did his birthday month coincide with the World's Fair? Maybe he was just celebrating his birthday.
Let's see. When was that World's Fair? Dear God, it was.
Okay, well then, all is forgiven. He's just having, a birthday.
Yeah. That was,
He probably should have formed his own sovereign country so that sort of revelry was allowed.
Yeah. He's like, it's my 30th birthday. It's like kind of a big deal. I want to kill 200 people. Anyway. Nerderers.
Okay, I've got another one. It's number 18 on the list. Large radio.
Okay.
And I would think that in this we would...
How large is it?
Bigger than normal, and all anybody knows is normal, so humongous.
It's true.
So it would be us stop trying to have a podcast and just start trying to have a bigger radio. Show?
I don't know. You get a bigger radio show. How you could have more stuff going on during regular programming. Maybe you play 2 songs at once.
We kind of talked about extra senses earlier. I think maybe we have this bigger appliance that gives you the normal radio, but also gives you like there's a place where you can put your hand and it'll give you things you can feel. You can have a mouth port on it for taste. So if you're having like a culinary radio show, you can be like, this is why you need to you need to make this recipe that I'm giving you right now is like just stick your tongue into the port and you'll taste it.
Katie Couric's live colonoscopy. Don't use the
maybe it
or
can
do
glow with
or do.
like,
listen, I'm not here to yuck any yums.
Colors. Like if it's glowing with red, don't stick your finger in the finger port. If it's glowing with red, don't stick your tongue in the tongue port. But anytime it's green, shove them in there.
That'll be the tagline of our show. Shove them in there. Big radio.
We probably are large radio.
Large.
We have some tubes to stick in your nose.
So we need a peripheral. This is going to be like a.
Right now, we're just going to have to stream video online for the eye part, but I do like the idea of having some sort of Google Glass.
Some sort of a There's a barrier to entry here that unless we're going to take a loss, we need people to get on board. And I think that what we risk happening here, getting people to adopt our proprietary delivery service here, is we would have to kind of make it open to other creators, and everyone would just immediately make it into a big fuck machine.
Yeah, no, like you will notice that I had no sexual gratification port on this large radio. That's not what this is about.
People are going to hack it. They're going to be
They're going to be sticking their dick in the mouth port and the finger port, all these things.
Horny little bits in the other tubes. Oh, we ruined it.
Yeah. In a perfect world, we could have large radio, but instead we're stuck with small radio.
We're stuck with small ideas for small-minded individuals.
All right. I don't even want to talk about that one again. That doesn't win this week for sure. Fuck you, large radio.
Oof.
Fuck you for being an idea that's too beautiful to exist in this world. Maybe on a boat somewhere.
On a yacht. Maybe it could be sorted out in our yacht court. All right, I got another one here that I like. It's called We Creepin Podcast. We Creepin Podcast.
Ooh.
Yeah. We creepin. You see us.
Yeah. In this, like this past week, I think if you'd given this to me a week or two ago, I would have thought it was something different. But to me, right now, this is a documentary series. A lot of people creeping, a lot of people afraid and just trying to walk the streets.
Yeah. There's a reason it's called We Creepin Podcast and not We Pussyfootin Podcast.
Yeah.
Mostly because people would be demanding our proprietary fuckhole radio for that one. Wait, which one of these do I put my foot on?
Come on, just look at the holes. You should know where to put everything.
This one's for your feet.
Man, that would have been the Matrix if we had, the I don't know. When did the internet officially get invented? In like the 1950s? I don't know.
Oh, I think it was
if we'd gone a good 30 years without motion video at all.
If it was just feet, foot stuff,
either images, and really images took so long to load. It was just words.
You get that thing where it's just one line at a time, slowly going down.
And I'm not properly remembering. I remember spending like days trying to download like one album of music. So that's most of the music was terrible MIDI clips. So never mind. Oof. Strike that.
I can remember I had a laptop that couldn't, like, the internal memory was so small that it couldn't even handle MP3s. And I downloaded some MIDIs of songs that I liked so I could listen to them.
Do you remember what those screens looked like? How did people look at them for more than an hour without their eyes starting to bleed? I remember my mom from her work in like 1993 had to bring a laptop home because she was doing minutes of city council meetings, and so she had like a tape recorder she had to listen to, and she was doing like typing down what was said in the meetings. And just looking at that screen for more than 5 minutes, it felt like it was a terrible affront to all of my senses. The early 90s laptop. And they were also about as hot as a coal you would take out of your grill. Like they were not like it was amazing. And I was like, this is the most expensive thing in my house right now. I really want to look at it and mess with it, but it was not good. That's what people played Doom on. That's what people played the original Diablo on for hours at a time.
This is what your problem is. You seriously? This is what you love for Doom?
Well, I was over on the old family PC while my mom was doing her work. And I was playing my Lemmings and just wondering, like, I couldn't even do this if it was on that. It hurt too much.
This thing is no good for Lemmings.
I would throw myself off of that cliff as well. If my whole world looked like this and it hurt my eyeballs to look at. I'm sorry. I'm getting off on a tangent.
You've got a lot. You got a lot to say about this old laptop.
Hey, just stick your dick wherever you want on an old 1990s laptop.
We
Fine by
Creepin
me.
Podcast.
But also We Creepin. A lot of my ideas for podcasts that I've not used because we'd have to be creeping, and so I'm interested by this. Like, is there a way to do a mobile podcast?
Podcast?
Yeah.
You think we should be creeping around outside?
Oh, you're planning on creeping inside? I guess we could creep inside.
We
Yeah,
could do inside creeping. We could do outside creeping. Honestly, we could do internet creeping. Just look up somebody and then talk about all the information we find about them. Oh, look, they got an old LinkedIn that they never got rid of. Let's see where they used to work.
We could write unofficial biographies of people.
Yeah. Yeah, we creeping. We could just do again. We could do an episode about a total stranger, where we just look up all their information and scroll back through their old Instagram and Facebook posts, and we just pick a random person out and we do a complete episode about them, a deep dive. We creeping, and maybe when the episode airs, then we like one of their old pictures, like way back, just like it. That's how we let them know that we creeping.
This weird podcast, like I guess they're a podcast. They say that they're not a podcast, but they liked this one picture of me.
Yeah, it's
from 7 years ago.
It's just this podcast. These two smug idiots from Kentucky. They did a whole episode of their show about me. No, I really like this idea now.
I do too.
Oh.
Well, do you want to pick? What do we have this week?
We had Joe Rodan. We had Paint by Orders. We had the Sovereign Citizen News.
Pier
podcast,
Mediation.
The Pier Mediation. And then we had
the Darknet Diana.
The Nerderers. We Creepin. And
Large Radio.
I really liked your first idea. The what did you call it? The
paint by orders.
Paint by orders. I really like Paint by Orders, but damn, now the We Creepin Podcast, I kind of really like that idea too. Just find someone who has a public profile on social media and just do a whole week's worth of research and then come back and just talk about that person's life.
Well, like I normally think that the best of our attempts combine multiple ideas. Why don't we do We Creepin', but as we do We Creepin', be conscious of what we're going to instruct people to paint. So we, in turn, make a painting that we can send to that person via our listeners.
Okay. Sounds good.
So hopefully our research will turn up something suitably photogenic that we can then describe to the listeners of
We Creepin'.
Paint by Orders. I think they can be joint podcasts. They can even be it can be like Israel and Palestine. They exist in the same place, but they're different entities altogether, kind of like the many countries that exist within our own that don't recognize the sovereignty of the United States of America. So that kind of gets 3 in there.
Yeah. And that makes sense. I mean, it totally doesn't, but I didn't know what else to say.
I don't know. Just looking for links anywhere I can get them.
Hey, try the butcher shop. All right. Well, folks, thanks for listening. If you want to hear We Creepin', you can head over to patreon.com/we don't have a podcast yet. That's where all of our attempts at a podcast end up. We've got lots of good ones. We've done seances. We've tried tarot. We did a whole podcast about Goofy that happened during the death of Kobe Bryant, and then we had to keep talking about Goofy while the news was pouring in about the death of one of basketball's greats. So you can listen to all of those old episodes if you subscribe to the Patreon. Again, that is at patreon.com/we don't have a podcast yet. You can follow us on social media at WDHAPY. Join the Facebook group and send us your ideas for a podcast. If you want us to try something out, you can send us an email at we don't have a podcast yet at gmail.com, or just send us a DM on social media. Other than that, I've been Nathan P. Woodard.
I'm Andrew James Estes.
And catch you on the flip side.
Yeah.
We didn't have a sign
everybody.
All right, bye.
Love y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.